Hello, and welcome to episode 3 of Raising a Socially Intelligent Child. I do hope that episode 1 and 2 has been really beneficial for you, and it's been light all the way. Episode 1, light. Episode 2, flash of light everywhere. And not just light, you've been able to implement the things that have been taught, you've taken notes, you've seen how exactly these things that you've learned are practicable in the life of your children or in your own life as a parent. I also do not take it for granted that you're here, you subscribe to this channel, you take the time to watch whenever we post these videos. Thank you so much. It's because of you that we do the things that we do. Thank you so much. So today we're going to unravel social intelligence from the cradle to adulthood, teaching principles that guide their lives. And I'll read from 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 15. 2 Timothy 3, verse 15. I'm reading from the New King James Version. It says, and that from childhood you have known the Holy Scriptures, which are able to make you wise for salvation through faith which is in Christ Jesus, and from a childhood. Okay? This eventually lays to rest the kind of opinions that we have. And when we say our children are too young, they cannot understand. But they can understand cartoon. They can understand cartoon characters. They know them by names. Even before they start talking, they can understand. They can understand the Word of God. So today we're going to be looking at how to teach, what to focus on for each level. When you're teaching social intelligence, there are levels to teaching this social intelligence or social skills, and I have divided it into 3 levels: the toddler, the growing child, and the teenager. The toddler is, for us, the period between 0 and 5. The growing child is between 6 to 10 or even 11. And then the young adult / teenager is 11 and above. So I'm going to focus on the 4 major dimensions that we have enumerated when you're teaching social skills. So like we shared in the last 2 videos, learning social skills and building social intelligence is nestled upon 4 major dimensions. I talked about empathy, I talked about respecting people's boundaries, rules, regulations. I talked about your behavior, your self-image, carrying yourself well, and then I talked about your self-awareness, understanding yourself and knowing how you come to play in the grand scheme of things. So we're going to start with empathy. I call this the feeling trait that helps you pick a person's mood and adjust your reactions immediately. Empathy is about feeling a person. An empathetic person will know what to say, when to say it, and how to say it. For example, to show empathy, when someone is sharing with you how they feel, it is not exactly the right time to share with them how you felt when you went through the same thing. It's the time to listen. Sometimes you may not even say anything. It might just be the gentle holding of your hands. It might just be telling them it's all right. Yeah, empathizing with them. You're not judging them. You're not correcting per se. That's what empathy means. So, how do you engage these things in adults and toddlers? Toddlers respond to reactions. They look at your face and they respond to the look on your face. So to show empathy, you have to ensure that your body language is in sync with what you're doing for younger toddlers. And then from 3 to 4, 5, say these words to them. Say it out, voice it, and let your body language be in sync with what you're saying. For example, if your baby comes back with a frown from school, hug the child. and ask him or her what is wrong. It could be hunger, but it might not be hunger. It might be something about school. It might be a friend. It might be a toy. It might be anything. If they are older, encourage them to speak. And that brings me to growing children. Growing children, encourage and teach them and let them know that it's okay to explain or speak up. Let them know, speak up about how they feel. Show them also that this is how to do things. Explain things to them. Teach them. When you are teaching empathy, you lead by example. So if my 7-year-old, if I want to correct a behavior in my 8-year-old, or if my 8-year-old I want to teach my 8-year-old empathy, right? And I find out that the younger brother or the last child is crying and he's there reading something. Most of the times he's absent-minded or he's not paying attention. That's how I've come to recognize these things for some children. It's not like they are wicked. It's not like they want their younger ones to cry and die, right? So you tell them, Jason, when your brother is crying, I expect you to find out why he's crying and make him feel better. You've given him exact instruction, you've taught him. So if you want to teach empathy to a growing child, explain it to them and let them understand what it means. Don't assume. Nobody is born with social skills. Well, maybe if you are, then good for you. But many of us had to learn it. Teach them. That place is the first place where they get to learn. Don't shout. Don't say, yeah, here, your brother is crying. Are you for real? My brother is crying. The guy likes to cry. The child told his mom, but the guy likes to cry. So, you should. And I'm not his mommy. So that is the point of teaching. So you tell the child, but he's your brother. But she's your sister. But she's your friend. You need to find out why he or she is crying and let them know that it's going to be alright. Or bring it to an adult near you. So, it is your response to what happens and how they deal with issues that will teach them what is allowed and what is not allowed. And for teenagers want to be heard and understood before they are advised. When you were a teenager, many times when people advise you, you already know what you want to do. But if you encourage a teenager to say what is on their mind without, I'm using the word judgment very carefully because it is our role as parents to set them straight. But if you've done this job well from when they were children to right on to when they were teenagers, they will learn to listen to you. They will learn to value, because we actually teach children to honor. The Bible says that children should honor their parents. Children, obey your parents in the Lord. Honor is about listening to your parents. And then if there is something that you feel is not right, be able to speak to your mother. The ability for them to express themselves to you without the fear of being judged will teach them empathy, because you are listening to them. When they come to you and tell you that they don't like mathematics, don't say, that's your business. I've already told you that you need to pass maths before you can do. I don't like mathematics, but I want to do sciences. You listen to them. Okay, why don't you like mathematics? At the end of the day, it might be that the way, the method the teacher teaching them is making them not to like the mathematics. It might be that there's a change of teachers. In fact, there was a situation where a girl constantly failed her mathematics and her father was beating her. And I don't know why a father or a parent would respond to failure by beating. That is the most inhuman thing to do. Excuse me. Because nobody likes to fail. Failure is not what people covet. Nobody just wakes up and says, yeah, today I'm going to fail. So if I fail and you're beating me, you are not helping me. You're not. Parents, they'll tell you, when I beat her or when I beat him, she'll take her academics seriously. Really? 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 When you were beaten like that as a child, what did it make you do? It made you shut out against your parents. So don't repeat the cycle. Don't repeat the cycle. The response to failure is not shaming, is not beating, is talking it through. What is even failure? There must be something that the child is good at. Start from there first. Start from the strength and then onto the weakness. Alright? There must be a place, there must be something that child is good at. Listen to them. The reason that this girl was failing her math subject was because the teacher in charge wanted to molest her sexually. This was a girl in SS2. Wanted to molest her sexually, and she refused. And so she stopped being, in order to avoid him, she stopped attending his sessions. Of course, she failed, and she failed very woefully. And I'm sure even if the failure was not woefully, the anger will make the man make it woefully. Do you see? So you have to be careful. Before you condemn a behavior from a teenager or from any child at all, find out why. Let them speak up. That's showing empathy. And when they express themselves, be diligent enough to take action and let them know that you've taken action. Listen, action means a lot. Listen, action means a lot to your teenager. If I tell you something right now and you take action behind my back and I don't know, I'm not aware, I will feel that you're not doing anything about it. And I will not trust you again with future feedbacks. And when you're going to take that action, don't go in a way to give out your child. Don't say things like, don't go there and just rehash what your child has said. Go on a fact-finding mission. Find out. And it will lead you to other things that maybe your child is not even saying. But if they say one thing and you react immediately, nobody's going to tell you anything. So, this is how you raise a child who is empathetic, by you showing empathy yourself. Number 2, respect. Respect we're talking about here is honoring a person's culture and understanding what the boundaries that surround a particular relationship holds. So the social skill we are teaching here is respecting people's boundaries, respecting people's values and principles. You may not agree with them, but you must teach them to respect people's boundary. And it begins from when they are when they are toddlers. Teach them what is allowed and what is not allowed. What is allowed in this situation? My phone is my phone. I don't expect you to go into my WhatsApp and begin to look at what I'm writing, because it is private to me. It is private to me. And let them know that to knock before you enter is giving me honor. Don't just bad into my room because you're my child. It is part of respect. It is part of honor. For your growing child, focus on the behavior that you want to amplify, and let them know that there are rules that are made to protect them. So, number 1, focus on the behavior you want to amplify. Focus on the character that you want to help them build. If you want them to build character, if you want them to build learning how to say how they feel without being rude, if you want to let them build any skill at all, or if you want to amplify any character at all, telling the truth, focus on it. And let them know that the reason why rules are in place is to protect them. Let them know that it's okay to have rules guiding things. It is for their own good, so that we know. For example, when I was growing up, we had a rule that beyond 7 o'clock, shouldn't be out, should be home. And if you're going anywhere, tell somebody where you're going. I lived in the north. I grew up in the north, and it was important that you told people where you're going, so that if anything starts to happen, they will know where to find you. Alright? And these rules, these values are to be respected, because They help us as parents, and they help you as the child. All right? And then for teenagers, teach them to relish their identity, understand other people, not judge whilst protecting themselves. So teach them that, okay, these are my rules. Where we come from, we don't do this. This is not allowed. And this is my identity. This is what I believe is right. It's not just because my mother said so, or my father said so, or my pastor said so. And that is why your child should actually internalize these things and be able to form their own sense of identity, like solidify their sense of identity, so that they know that this is who they are, not just what they are told. In our church, it's not about our church, it's about you personally. So you must learn, you must encourage your children to form their own sense of self-identity, and whilst not judging other people, understanding that everybody, most of these people came into the world and experienced those rules, experienced those situations. For example, you didn't choose your religion, and I bet that between 1 and 5 or 10, you didn't choose your religion, or even 15. You may not have chosen to go to the church you're attending. So don't go all there and act like you are better than other people because you are a certain religion, or because you go to a certain church, because you attend a certain denomination, or what have you. No, respect other people. You may not believe or agree with them, but it's important you respect them. And try as much as possible not to go beyond your boundaries, beyond your jurisdiction. That will earn you a lot of respect. And if for any reason you need to give an opinion, let it be that someone asked for it. Okay? And then we go on to behavior. Behavior, this component concerns how people carry themselves in social situations. So we talked about self-image. We talked about teaching them to carry themselves properly, which is the self-image we're talking about, right? So how do you teach them to carry themselves properly? How do you teach them from toddlers to growing children and to teenagers? For toddler, teach them decorum and social skills that are appropriate. For example, hello, good morning, ma, good morning, sir, smile, and using their words. If you want something, use your words. I cannot smell the back of my hand and just know instinctively what you want. So you need to learn to use your words, and it will also help them to develop self-assertiveness when they start to grow. Let them share with you what they want. Always learn to tell your toddler, use your words. Teach them how to smile. And I hope you smile too. Teach them how to smile. Teach them how to say hello, good morning, ma. Teach them that when they enter into a place, they should greet, they should acknowledge the presence of people. And when someone comes in, they should acknowledge that person's presence. Oh, you're welcome, good to have you here. These are social skills that warn people. If you go to the bank now and you see a queue and you see an angry cashier, angry, tired, frustrated, everybody's been shouting, screaming, and you've waited your turn and you get to him, and hello, good afternoon, and you look at his name tag, maybe what's there is Akin. Hello, Mr. Akin, good afternoon. How was your day? How are you doing? That man is going to soften up to you, and he will do everything that you want, and even ask you if there's something else you want done. That is natural behavior. We respond to the vibe that we are given. People respond to the vibe that you're given. So if you want to build your self-image, learn to give out the right vibes. Okay? And then for a growing child, teach them to be courteous, recognize that everyone would always have an opinion, and let them know. First of all, for growing children, courtesy is important. That is when you solidify courtesy. And that's when by courtesy, I mean speaking to people right, calling them the right title. If someone prefers to be called Mr., call the person Mr. Using the right titles to address your children. And as they begin to go into teenagehood and young adulthood, they should recognize that everyone has an opinion. And even as growing children, everyone has an opinion. And if you say, for example, my 6-year-old came to me one day and said, XYZ said he's not my friend, or XYZ said I'm a baby, and I asked him, but are you a baby? No. Good. That's all I needed to say to him. So he went back and said, I am not a baby, and what you say does not make me a baby. And I was very proud of him. So teach them to stand up for themselves, whilst also being courteous. Teach them to say what needs to be said, to speak up. Growing up, some of us are taught to shush and not say how we feel. That's not how to develop a good social skill. Learning to speak up, learning to say how you feel, learning to be assertive without being rude is the high point of building social skills, because you will always relate with people, and those people would many times get to your wrong side. Okay? So let them know. Teach them decorum for your toddlers. Teach your children to be courteous and recognize that everyone would have an opinion. And then in addition, as they grow into teenagehood, let them learn to speak up. Even as children, as growing children, let them learn to speak up. Be assertive without being rude. And then finally, we go on to self-awareness. This is knowing how your behavior rubs off on the other person. Knowing your capacity. Knowing, okay, this is my capacity. This is how I'm able to perform a certain task. For example, when I was in school, and I'm going to layer on this while we gradually bring this to a close. When I finished my junior WAEC, somewhere at the back of my mind, I wanted to do arts because I loved literature and the arts. Maybe I would have gone on to study mass communication. And if I had studied mass communication, I would have I don't know, right? But I went on to the sciences because I was told that intelligent girls are girls that are in the sciences. People who do arts are not very intelligent. So you're beautiful, you're intelligent. What are you doing in the arts? And that was why I entered into the arts. And I even wanted to do medicine, even though I know that no, I'm not cut out for that. Eventually, I found myself, but it was after spending 5 years plus 1 year extra for a disagreement between the school and the government, because I attended a federal government school. In Nigeria, we call it ASU strike. So I spent 6 years in school doing what I didn't have any business doing. What should have taken me 4 years, mass communication would have taken me 4 years. I would have aced it back to back, and I would have gone ahead to do other great things. So understanding yourself, teaching your child to understand themselves even as children, will help them relate better with other people. So how do you teach your toddler to be self-aware? Let them know, encourage them to say how something makes them feel. How do you feel? How does this make you feel? Do you love your mathematics? How does reading make you feel? Encourage them to talk about how they feel. And for your growing child, encourage them to be honest when they don't understand, so that they can learn. Encourage them to share their feelings and exactly how they feel about some actions. Teach them to say yes when they really mean to say yes, and no when they really mean to say no. That is very important. It's the foundation of self-awareness, because if I say yes when I mean to say yes, it means I know myself enough to know that the answer to this is yes. If you don't want to eat and I'm offering you food, for example, say no, thank you, ma'am. I'm not hungry right now. Because I know that if I eat that food now, it may trouble my tummy. Or if I have reactions with certain kind of food, teach them to say it. It's okay. Be self-aware. Self-awareness has to do with from when they are small. Groom them to say yes when they should say yes, and know when to say no. And then for your teenagers, understand what they like, why they like it, and to be honest, if they need to face their fears, and know how to be assertive. So let's break it down. If they come to you and say, me, I don't like maths. Why don't you like maths? And don't ask it with a chip of, you don't like maths. No. Okay, why don't you like maths? It could be that the way that they are being taught is not okay. It could be that the teacher who is teaching them maths is not sound. It could be that there is a change of, there has been back-to-back change. There are some schools that their teachers leave very often. And so this one comes with a teaching style, and when he leaves, another one will come, and it becomes so confusing for these children. Or maybe they changed environments or something. It may just mean that there is something, that a foundational mathematical principle that they have not understood, that is still holding them down. So find out why. And if they need to face their fears, it might not be that they don't like it. It might be that they are too afraid to face that fear, or they don't feel confident enough to face the fear. So beyond just taking whatever they say at face value, learn to dissect what they say. Ask them questions. Why? Why don't you like this? Why do you like this? And find out if they need to face their fears and how you can help them by putting down action points. This is what I need to do. This is when I should do it. This is what the expected outcome should be. And be there to guide them. Also teach them to be assertive. Like I said, to say how they feel. Let their yes, teach them to say yes when they mean to say yes, and to say no when they mean to say no. And let them know how important it is. You can even reward people, your children, when they say what exactly they mean. Because saying what you don't mean has led a lot of people into trouble. So teach them to say what they mean and say it without being rude. Again, let them know when they're not comfortable. Let them say when they're not comfortable with a particular thing. The bottom line is, let them know it's okay to express themselves and share how exactly they see things. Okay, so this is where we draw the curtain on the second edition. Remember that we are their very first mentor. What you desire to see in the life of your child, then begin to teach it and also do it. Okay, thank you so much for watching. Thank you. I'd like you to please comment, share with me. If you've watched till now, bravo! Share with me what has been your aha moment. Share also these videos with your circle, the people in your circle. Like, comment, and let us know what we may be doing, what we should be doing better. If you have any ideas on how you can support us, send us an email at mamaboysdiary@gmail.com. Thank you and have an amazing week ahead. Bye for now.